Something happened. Last night, while you were sleeping, while the world was quiet and your heart was finally at rest, something shifted in the invisible places. Something you cannot see, but you can feel it, can't you? That strange weight in your chest when you woke up this morning. That feeling that the air around you is somehow different, somehow charged with something you cannot name. You've been carrying something heavy for so long now. And you thought no one noticed. But someone did. Someone always does. There is a person in your life who has been watching you more closely than you realize. Someone whose heart beats just a little faster when your name comes up. Someone who has been gathering the courage to tell you something important. But here's the thing you don't know yet. That thing they want to tell you? It's not what you think. Not even close. You see, there are conversations happening in the quiet spaces of your life that you've completely missed. Words being spoken about you when you're not in the room. Prayers being whispered on your behalf that you never heard. And one of those prayers, it just got answered. You haven't felt it yet. But you will. Very soon. Perhaps you've noticed how certain people have been acting strange around you lately. The way they look at you with those eyes that seem to hold back something unspoken. The way they hesitate before they speak to you, like they're measuring every word. That's not your imagination. That's the universe trying to prepare you. But for what? That's the question, isn't it? You've been waiting for something. Maybe you don't even know what it is. But deep in your soul, in that place you don't talk about, you've been hoping. You've been expecting. You've been holding on to a tiny thread of faith that something would finally change. And it has. Just not in the way you imagined. Because the person you've been thinking about, the one whose face appears in your mind at the strangest moments, the one whose voice you still remember even when you try to forget, they have been going through something too. Something they haven't told you. Something they don't know how to say. But the silence is about to break. You'll understand soon. And right now, in this very moment, while you're reading these words, something is happening in their heart. A decision is being made. A wall is coming down. A door that you thought was permanently closed, is slowly beginning to open. But that's not all. There's another truth hidden beneath this one. A truth about you. About the way your heart works, about the love you've been holding inside you that has nowhere to go. About the connection you've been feeling with something bigger than yourself, something you can't quite explain. You've been searching for answers. Looking everywhere except the one place they've been waiting. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Perhaps you do, and perhaps you don't. But keep reading anyway. Because the next part of this message is the part that will change everything you thought you knew. There is a moment coming. A moment that will require you to pay attention in a way you've never paid attention before. A moment where everything you've been hoping for and everything you've been afraid of will collide in a single, breathtaking instant. And when that moment arrives, you'll have a choice to make. One small choice. One tiny decision that will send ripples through every part of your life. Stay with me. I know your heart is racing right now. I know you're thinking about that person. The one whose name sits on the tip of your tongue, the one you've been trying not to think about all day, all week, all year. And you're wondering. Is this about them? Is this finally the moment? But here's what you don't realize yet. The person you've been thinking about, they've been thinking about you too. More than you know. More than they've ever admitted. And something happened in their world that changed everything. Something they never expected. Something that made them realize what you truly mean to them. But they're scared. They're terrified, actually. Because what they want to say to you is so big, so important, that they can barely breathe when they think about saying it. This is where you come in. This is where your part of the story begins. Because before they can speak, before they can take that step, you need to understand something about yourself. Something that has been hidden from you. Something that will make everything else make sense. You've been waiting for a sign. Haven't you? You've been waiting for proof that you're on the right path, that your heart isn't leading you astray, that the love you feel isn't one-sided and foolish. And you've been looking for that sign in all the wrong places. But here it is. Right here. And yet, it's still not finished. One more piece. You see, the conversation that's about to happen between you and this person, it won't go the way either of you expects. It will be better. And it will be harder. But it will be real. And that's what you've been waiting for, isn't it? Something real. Something true. Something that doesn't require you to pretend or perform or protect yourself from the possibility of getting hurt. I know you're tired of hiding your heart. I know you're exhausted from carrying all this love inside you with nowhere to put it. I know you've been wondering if anyone sees you, really sees you, for who you actually are. And right now, someone is about to show you that they do. But before that happens, before the words are finally spoken, you need to know one more thing. Something that will make all of this make sense. Something that connects every moment you've experienced, every heartbreak, every disappointment, every quiet prayer you thought no one heard. And you'll understand soon. The biggest truth is still hidden. The most important part is still coming. But you're almost there. You're so close to understanding why all of this had to happen exactly the way it did. So don't move. Don't turn away. Don't let your heart convince you to stop reading because the fear is too loud. Because the next part of this message. The next part is where everything changes. You're still here. I knew you would be. Because something inside you recognized the truth in those words. Something deep in your spirit whispered, "This is for me. This is about me." And you were right. It was always about you. But here's what you haven't realized yet. The person I've been speaking about? The one whose heart is preparing to speak? They're not who you think. Oh, I know you've been picturing someone. I know a face has appeared in your mind. A name. A history. A hope. And yes, that person matters. But there's another layer. Another piece of this puzzle that you haven't seen yet. Because the love that's coming toward you, it doesn't look the way you expected. It doesn't arrive the way you imagined. And that's actually the most beautiful part. You've been waiting for love to come in a certain package. Wrapped in a certain voice. Dressed in a certain smile. But love is wilder than that. Love doesn't follow your instructions. Love has its own timing, its own shape, its own way of finding you when you least expect it. And right now, love is standing at your door. But you haven't opened it yet. Because you're still looking out the window, searching for something else. Something you think you need. Something you're afraid you might have missed. But you haven't missed it. You couldn't miss it. Because this love, this connection, it's been woven into your life from the very beginning. Every friendship that didn't work out, that was preparation. Every relationship that ended too soon, that was redirection. Every lonely night you spent wondering if anyone would ever really know you, that was the silence before the symphony. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Perhaps you do. Perhaps you feel it right now, somewhere in your chest, that strange fluttering that means your soul is waking up to something. But let me ask you something. Have you noticed how certain things keep happening to you? Certain patterns? Certain people appearing at exactly the right moment? Certain doors closing just before you walked through them? That's not coincidence. That's not random. That's the universe, that's heaven, that's something bigger than both of us. Steering you exactly where you need to go. And where you need to go is toward a truth you've been avoiding. A truth about your own heart. You see, you've been looking for love outside yourself. You've been searching for someone to complete you, to fix you, to finally make you feel whole. But that's not how this works. That's never how this works. The person who's about to speak to you, the one whose heart is preparing to open, they can't give you what you haven't already found within yourself. They can only mirror what's already there. And that's why this moment is so important. That's why everything is happening right now. Because you're finally ready to see yourself the way they see you. The way heaven sees you. The way you were always meant to be seen. But there's something else. Another truth that's been hidden from you. A truth about what's been happening in their life. The person you've been thinking about. They've been going through their own storm. Their own trial. Their own dark night of the soul. And in that darkness, they found something. They found clarity. They found courage. They found the words they've been too afraid to say. And now, those words are burning inside them. They can't hold them back anymore. They don't want to hold them back anymore. Because they finally understand something that used to confuse them. They finally see something that used to be invisible. They finally know that you are the answer to a question they've been asking their whole life. You are the missing piece they never knew they were looking for. You are the reason they kept going when everything fell apart. And they want to tell you. They need to tell you. But here's the thing you don't know yet. The words they're about to speak, they're not just about their feelings. They're about something much bigger. Something that involves you both. Something that was written into your story long before either of you were born. You've heard of soul connections, haven't you? You've heard of people who find each other across time and space, who recognize something familiar in each other's eyes, who feel like they've known each other forever. That's not a fairy tale. That's not wishful thinking. That's a glimpse of the truth. And you're about to experience it. But not in the way you expect. Because this connection, this love, it comes with a purpose. A mission. A reason that goes far beyond your own happiness. And that's the part you're not ready for yet. But you will be. You'll understand soon. The love that's coming toward you is not just for you. It's for everyone you're about to touch. Everyone you're about to help. Everyone you're about to heal. Because when two people truly connect, when two hearts finally meet in the way they were always meant to, something shifts in the world. Something changes. Something heals. And that's what's about to happen. That's what's already beginning. Right now, in this moment, while you're reading these words, energy is moving. Doors are opening. Walls are coming down. And a conversation is about to happen that will alter the course of your life forever. But the conversation hasn't started yet. Not really. What's happening now is the preparation. The quiet before the storm. The breath before the words. And you need to be ready. You need to be present. You need to stop running from the very thing your heart has been asking for. Because the one thing you've been most afraid of. The one thing you've been avoiding. That's exactly where your healing is waiting. That's exactly where your joy is hiding. That's exactly where the love you've been craving is standing, with open arms, waiting for you to finally arrive. And you will arrive. You're arriving right now. Every word you read is bringing you closer. Every breath you take is preparing you. Every beat of your heart is synchronizing with theirs. And when the moment finally comes, when they finally speak, when the words you've been waiting to hear are finally spoken, you'll understand why everything had to happen this way. Why the timing had to be perfect. Why the waiting had to be long. Why the silence had to be deep. Because some love is too big for easy words. Some connection is too sacred for quick fixes. Some relationships require you to grow all the way up before you can finally come together. And you've grown. You've grown so much more than you realize. But the biggest growth is still ahead. The most important lesson is still waiting. And the person who's about to speak to you? They're going to teach you something you never knew you needed to learn. Something about yourself. Something about them. Something about the incredible, mysterious, breathtaking way that love actually works. But that's for the next part. That's for what's coming. Because right now, in this very moment, you need to sit with what you've already heard. You need to let it settle into your heart. You need to let it work on you while you sleep. And when you wake up tomorrow, you'll feel different. You'll see differently. You'll understand things you couldn't understand before. And then the real conversation will begin. And now we go deeper. Deeper than you've ever been willing to go. Because the truth I'm about to share with you, it's not an easy truth. It's not a comfortable truth. It's the kind of truth that rearranges everything you thought you knew. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to have your entire understanding of love, of connection, of your own life, completely turned inside out? I hope so. Because that's exactly what's about to happen. You see, you've been operating under a misunderstanding. A beautiful misunderstanding, but a misunderstanding nonetheless. You've believed that love is something you find. Something you search for. Something that exists somewhere out there, waiting for you to discover it. But that's not how love works. Love doesn't hide from you. Love doesn't play games with you. Love doesn't require you to prove yourself worthy. Love is already here. It's been here the whole time. Right in front of you. Right inside you. And the person who's about to speak to you. They know this. They understand this in a way you haven't quite grasped yet. And that's exactly what they're going to help you see. But here's the part that will surprise you. You've actually been pushing them away. Not intentionally. Not consciously. But with every doubt you've carried, every fear you've held on to, every wall you've built to protect yourself from getting hurt again. You've been keeping them at a distance. And they've felt it. They've felt every wall. They've felt every hesitation. They've felt every time you pulled back just when things were getting close. And yet, they stayed. They waited. They kept loving you from afar, hoping you would eventually see what they see. But now the waiting is over. Something happened. Something that forced their hand. Something that made them realize they can't wait anymore. Because life is too short. Because time is too precious. Because the love they feel for you is too big to keep inside any longer. And so they're about to speak. They're about to say the words that have been living in their heart for months, years, maybe even longer than that. But before they do, before those words leave their lips, you need to understand something about yourself. Something you've been avoiding. Something you've been hiding from. Something that, if you face it, will change everything. You are afraid. I know you don't like to admit that. I know you prefer to appear strong, put together, unbothered by the chaos of life. But underneath all of that, beneath the mask you wear for the world, you're scared. Scared of being seen. Scared of being known. Scared of being loved and then left again. And that fear, that deep, ancient, familiar fear. It has been running your life. It has been making your decisions. It has been choosing your path. It has been keeping you small. But that fear is about to meet something stronger. Something more powerful. Something that will break its hold on you. And that something is their love. The love that's coming toward you. The love that's preparing to speak. But here's what you don't know yet. This love doesn't just come from them. It comes from a source far greater than either of you. It comes from the same place that created the stars, that carved the mountains, that holds the ocean in its place. It comes from the divine. From heaven. From something so vast and so beautiful that your human mind can barely comprehend it. This is not just a coincidence. This is not just luck. This is not just two people finding each other in a random universe. This is planned. This is orchestrated. This is one of those rare, sacred moments where heaven touches earth and two souls finally recognize each other. And you've been chosen for this. You specifically. You with all your flaws, all your doubts, all your wounds and your fears. You. Because you're ready. Even if you don't feel ready. Even if you think you need more time, more healing, more growth. You're ready. You've been ready longer than you know. And the person who loves you. They've been waiting for you to realize that. They've been praying for you to see yourself the way they see you. And now their prayers are being answered. But there's one more thing. One more layer to this story. Something that will connect everything. Something that will make all the pain of the past make sense. You've been through so much. So much heartbreak. So much disappointment. So much loneliness. And you've asked yourself 1,000 times. Why? Why did this happen to me? Why did they leave? Why did it have to hurt so much? And I'm about to tell you why. Because every heartbreak was clearing the way. Every disappointment was removing what wasn't meant for you. Every lonely night was preparing you for a love that would finally fill that emptiness. You had to lose what you thought you wanted. So you could recognize what you actually needed. You had to feel the absence of love. So you would never take true love for granted. You had to learn to be alone. So you could truly be with someone else. Do you see it now? Do you see the pattern? Do you see how every moment of your life has been leading you directly to this point? It's beautiful, isn't it? Even the painful parts. Even the parts you wish you could forget. It was all leading here. All of it. Every tear. Every sleepless night. Every prayer you thought went unanswered. Every moment you felt invisible. It was all preparing you for this. For them. For the love that's about to arrive. And now you're standing at the threshold. You're so close to understanding everything. So close to receiving everything. So close to finally feeling the love you've been craving your whole life. But there's still one more piece. One more truth that needs to be revealed. One more layer that needs to be peeled back. And that truth is about them. About the person who loves you. About what they've been going through while you've been worrying about yourself. Because you're not the only one who's been suffering. You're not the only one who's been afraid. You're not the only one who's been wondering if this love would ever happen. They've been wondering too. They've been waiting too. They've been hurting too. And that shared pain, that shared longing, that shared hope. It's what makes your connection so special. It's what makes your love so powerful. It's what makes this moment so sacred. Because you both earned this. You both paid the price. You both walked through your own personal hell to arrive at this moment. Together. And now the final part of the story begins. The part where everything comes together. The part where silence breaks. The part where hearts speak. The part where love finally has its moment. And now, the final piece. You've come so far. Through the mystery, through the questions, through the long nights of wondering what any of this truly means. And you're still here. That means something. That means you're ready. Ready for the truth that has been waiting for you since the very first word of this message. But before I give it to you, before I reveal what's been hidden, I need you to understand one last thing. A thing about them. The one whose heart has been preparing to speak. You've spent so much time thinking about what they're going to say to you. Wondering if it will be the words you've been longing to hear. hoping that when they finally open their mouth, everything will suddenly make sense. But you've been looking at this backward. Because the conversation that's coming, it's not really about what they say to you. It's about what you say to them. It's about what you finally allow yourself to admit. You see, all this time, you've been waiting for them to give you permission. Permission to hope. Permission to believe. Permission to finally let yourself love and be loved without holding back. But permission doesn't come from them. It never did. It comes from you. From that quiet, brave place inside your heart that has always known the truth. And the truth is, you already love them. You already know. You've always known. Every moment you spent thinking about them. Every time your heart raced when their name appeared. Every dream you had that you couldn't quite remember but couldn't quite forget. That was your soul telling you something. Telling you that this person matters. That this connection is real. That this love is not something to be afraid of. But you've been afraid anyway. Because loving someone means giving them power over you. It means opening yourself up to the possibility of getting hurt. It means trusting that they won't break what you've so carefully protected. And that's terrifying. I know it is. But here's what you need to understand. They are just as terrified as you are. Maybe even more. Because they've been watching you from afar, trying to read your signals, trying to understand if you feel what they feel. And every time you pulled away. Every time you acted like you didn't care. Every time you pretended they were just another person in your life. It broke their heart a little. But they stayed. They kept loving you. They kept believing. Not because they're foolish. Not because they don't know any better. But because they see something in you that you can't see in yourself. They see your strength. They see your beauty. They see the incredible, magnificent soul that you've been hiding from the world. And they love that soul. They love it more than they've ever loved anything. That's why they're about to speak. That's why the silence is about to break. Because they can't hold it in anymore. The words are too big. The love is too real. The time is finally right. But here's what's going to happen. When they speak, when they finally tell you how they feel, you're going to want to run. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like you don't deserve this kind of love. And that voice in your head, the one that's always told you you're not good enough, it's going to get very loud. It's going to tell you to push them away. It's going to tell you that this is too good to be true. It's going to tell you that you'll only end up getting hurt. But here's the truth. That voice is a liar. It's been lying to you your whole life. And right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can listen to that voice and lose something beautiful. Or you can finally trust. Trust that you are worthy of this love. Trust that this person is real. Trust that what's happening is not a mistake. And trust that even if it doesn't work out perfectly, even if there are hard moments, even if things don't go exactly as you imagine, it's still worth it. Because this love, this connection, it's rare. It's precious. It's the kind of thing that only happens once in a lifetime. And if you let fear win, if you let that voice convince you to walk away, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what might have been. I know you don't want that. I know your heart is tired of running. I know you want to finally rest in someone's arms and feel completely, utterly safe. And that's exactly what's waiting for you. But only if you say yes. Only if you take the risk. Only if you choose love over fear. And that's what this moment is really about. Not them. Not what they're going to say. Not whether the timing is perfect. It's about you. About whether you will finally give yourself permission to receive. To receive love. To receive joy. To receive everything you've been too afraid to accept. And I believe you will.